Hey, this is Max Hobson from Real Estate with Maxi. I'm coming to you with some of the most successful and experienced agents from across the country to provide the most value in technology, social media, and real estate as we can. I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, real estate agents. We are here with Barry Pulver from North Carolina. How are you today, Barry?
I am exceptionally well, thank you, Max. How are you?
Very good. So today we're going to talk about social media. So what is social media and why is it really important for real estate agents? Some basic tips on what platforms to use, depending on what country you're in, obviously, because it's going out global, and some tips on setting up your profile to get the best engagement out of your audience. So, starting off, what is social media? It's just a really good way, in my opinion, to reach people across the world. So, as a real estate agent, you might just be targeting your local area, you might be targeting a wider range. It doesn't matter. So, with social media and the powers of social media, you can really create a community and engage that community, whether it's your local suburbs or your local state, that is. Or you can engage a more global community. So some agents who are doing agent attraction, they might be talking to people from the USA, from the UK, from Australia, and you're able to actually, create a community, create followers, and engage them across the world, which I think is pretty cool.
Well, let me ask you one question. I'll go one step further because in real estate, like it or not, we're also business owners. And when you're a business owner, you're always very conscious of your ROI and the money that goes out, money that comes in. So fundamentally speaking, unless you want to do boosted ads, paid advertising, Max, let me ask you a question. How much does it cost to be on and post content on social media?
Free. It's pretty much free. Your time is the cost. So there is a cost, and that's why most people have really, not the best social media channels because they don't want to put the time in, and that's a sacrifice you've got to make. And I think it's a worthy sacrifice. So um, like if you spend half an hour a day, you might think, wow, that's a lot of time. I don't have that time. But in the long run, half an hour a day can actually save you a lot of time on the current ways you're prospecting and generating leads. You could be spending way less time and just having it automated on your social media.
Well, that's something I'm really excited to learn from you specifically, Max, to be honest, about repurposing content and the strategy behind social media. The fact it doesn't cost any money, but it costs time. In real estate, what I found when I was a new agent, I didn't have money, but I had nothing but time. And
Yeah.
now I would say I'm arguably pretty successful. Time is limited, but I have money. So I think it just meets you where you are. But ultimately, the target market and your target audience, exactly like you were saying, is on social media. If they're the world's what just past 7 billion people and 6 billion of them are on Facebook, you're going to reach your target market in the right place.
And usually the what like I say this, um, like usually the ones that aren't on social media probably aren't going to be your clients anyway. So, it's most people in the USA, in the UK, Australia, where I am, generally they're all on social media. So it's not something you have to worry about. Oh, are they going to be on social media? Probably they will be. Um, I really want to get on to some of the platforms that we're going to be talking about. In Australia, specifically, we would be focusing. I think it's best to focus on two or three platforms. It's awesome if you can go like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, maybe Twitter, but you know, looking at it realistically, most people don't have the time because that's quite, you might be spending an hour, hour and a half a day doing that many platforms because you've got different content on each one. So just try and find one, two, or three if you've got the time, platforms that you can use. So in Australia, that would be Facebook, Instagram, because you can manage them together. So you can post from your Instagram and it automatically goes to your Facebook. So that's simple. Another great one for Australia is LinkedIn. I would say that would be my third. And if you got time for a fourth, you can use TikTok.
Well, let me ask you one question for my curiosity. As of probably the oldest millennial here in the world, I have Instagram personally. I've actually got business from it, but I've never really utilized it. Does the algorithm go against you if you post something on Instagram that automatically goes to Facebook?
No, it shouldn't. Um, you can set it up as this. I'm not going to go deep into this, but you can set it up in your Meta Business Manager. so that you actually go there and it's got a planner and you can post from the Meta Business Manager to Instagram and Facebook and it won't affect the algorithms. So with Instagram, specifically with your reels, so I try to focus on video content as much as I can on social media. That's the way the algorithm is working at the moment. It's basically the more you post and the more consistent you post, the better the algorithm helps you. So if you're posting 1 or 2 reels a day, you're going to find a lot more chance to be found and to go viral than if you're posting one photo one day and then a week later you might post a video and 2 weeks later you might post another video. It's better off being consistent if you can, whether that be with a virtual assistant or just yourself doing it.
Isn't that funny? I was always of the other mentality, and even now I'm slack. When you get to a level of success, you find yourself slack, which is never a good or valid excuse. But when it comes to social media, I always thought perfect is the best way, but done beats perfect because of algorithms and consistently all day long, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it depends how much notoriety you have at the moment as well. So, like, the Gavin Rubinstein, he posts very minimally, but he's got a very big audience through other channels, like the Amazon Prime show. So, in Australia, everyone who's a real estate agent knows who he is. He doesn't really need to be found, and he's sort of upholding that really premium branding on his social media, which works. And that works when it's, post here, post there, not all the time. But for someone who's starting off, I think it's foolish to try and go down that path. It's better off being found, posting more, being consistent, and reaching out to people.
I think you're spot on. Something I was taught as a brand new real estate agent was fake it till you make it. And now looking back, it just drives me absolutely batty and crazy because I think it's the exact opposite. Authenticity is what sells. There's no better platform to reach somebody directly unless you're sat right in front of them over a coffee than social media. Just going one step further back, for me, I use LinkedIn. I guess I used it ever since I was at university. Back in the old days, Max, when you're old like me, you had to have a university email address to be able to access it.
Yeah.
And I used that, and that's how I took a billion-dollar company international and grew me from being a team person of one to well over 500 agent partners around the world in 15 countries. That shows the power of it. Yeah. But I do think your logic of not going crazy, wherever you have your audience, wherever you are going to invest, it doesn't have to be multiple 4, 5, 6 platforms. 2 or 3, I think, is absolutely really good advice.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. If I think 100% go for as many platforms as you can, but if you go bull at a gate and you don't have the time or the patience for it, you're going to run into trouble and you're not going to do it right, and then it's just not worth doing. Or you'll stop all of them because you're like, oh, this is too hard. Stick to 2, like literally 2 or 3. I'd say LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. They're like 3 non-negotiables. The rest, I think TikTok is the next one, the 4th one. Very important because the algorithms and how easy it is to get viral there. And the fact that it's not just teenage girls who are on TikTok, it's actually quite a number of people these days. I can't remember the stats, but it was like 3 billion people on TikTok, something like it's huge, or 2 billion, like a lot of people. So yeah, don't forget TikTok. But yeah, moving on from that, it is having those platforms, you got to set them up right. So they're the same they're very similar. Like when you set them up, you got your Instagram, your Facebook, and let's say your LinkedIn. You wanna use a profile picture that is not like, don't use a logo. Don't use your business logo to say you got a fancy logo made up. Don't use that. This is your personal profile. You want to look happy, authentic, smiling face. I've got a good profile picture. Barry, you've got a really good profile picture. Just shoulders up, but you want to look approachable, basically. So when you don't want to come across as you're stuck up, like a lot of real estate agents in Australia will have their fancy black tuxedo with like the serious face, and yeah, exactly. You want to look approachable. So maybe you got your collar up, you might have a few buttons undone, got glasses on, and you're just looking happy, you're smiling.
But doesn't it come back to just being authentic? Like if you are a miserable person, firstly, you're probably not going to be in real estate, but don't put on a smile because when I meet you, I'm going to have a scowl. But it comes back to being authentic as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. 100%. Be you. That's a really good point. Your profile should represent you, not who you wish you were or like someone else that's cool that you like. Be you. That's the most important part.
Be you and own it.
Yeah. And next we're going to talk about your bio or your description. So it's a little description about yourself, and that's the same thing. Be you. Who are you, and why are you going to help someone? So whether that be an agent, whether that be one of your clients looking for the next purchase, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not in real estate and you're servicing, I don't know, your B2B with car management or something, like you gotta look at how you're gonna offer them value, how you're gonna service them. So a lot of real estate agents are like top real estate agent in this country, top real estate agent in this suburb, blah blah blah. It put them in, but it's not the point. It's not like sort of talk about who you are so they get to know you, building a relationship, and then talk about how you're gonna help them.
I love that, Max, just to copy in, because I'm thinking out loud now. On my LinkedIn, which is my main platform, I probably put on there the #1 global agent at EXP internationally, which offers absolutely zero value. Now, when I was frontline selling homes, I would not be doing that. I'm in a tiny little town called Davidson, North Carolina, here in the USA. And I know that when I'm looking to help people sell homes here in my market, you talk about being authentic. People know I'm here because I'm a business owner, and they know I attend this business meeting. They know I'm connected here. They know I volunteer here, and
Yeah.
it all comes back. Now, I know it's getting down a rabbit hole of what we'll speak about later on, but I think that's so important to
Yeah.
just set the expectation. If you set the expectation, be authentic by your picture, be authentic by that tagline, let people know who you are, own it, be authentic about it, and it will resonate over time.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think authenticity is the missing key for a lot of real estate agents.
Completely, couldn't agree more. As someone who was taught from the biggest company in the world, as someone who was taught the exact opposite, now I've got to a level of success I can actually preach that. And you see, the people who get to that level. You mentioned, domestically in Australia, I'm sure Gavin himself presents himself as exactly he is. He's not pretending or preaching to be somebody else, because there comes a level of point where success is not about the money. It's truly owning who you are and being authentic and showing people, although they may have been taught a different way, being them. That authenticity is what sells, and be true to why you get into this industry. I think for me, authenticity is arguably the most important part of the whole industry.
Yeah, yeah, and that comes back to social media. If you're showing who you are, then that represents, how you're going to come across to the client, and it just gives them another point of contact. It's like, okay, well, I sort of already know what this person's like. You can tell they're authentic. You can sort of, when you see someone's profile or you see them talk on video, which is a good thing about video, is you can tell straight away, this person seems really genuine, or this person seems like a stuck-up loser. So you don't want to fall under that trap.
And
You
you only
gotta,
get a short period of time to make a first impression. That's the thing about life. You can always make a second impression or have a second chance, but first impressions go so far in social media of a world where all we do is scroll, right? You see
yeah,
somebody, you see something, you may see the first 2 seconds of a video. It's that first initial impression, and that's the beauty of having a profile on social media.
100%. And with moving on with your profiles, the last thing I'm going to touch on today is you should always have a call to action on your profile. You don't want to always make it loud and like your whole profile is about the call to action, because that's a completely different thing. But you want to have your links in your profile. A really good tip is to go to somewhere called Linktree. So it's linktr.ee. If you put that into Google, it'll take you to the site. Just log in, sorry, create an account, and it spits you out like this little page on a mobile. When you press it, you know what? I'll pull one up. Let me get to my Instagram.
Again, while you're checking that, is because it's the convenience, isn't it? If someone has learned about you, they want to use you, make it as easy as they can to contact you directly.
Yeah, 100%. And with Linktree, you can put in all your other social media platforms, and you can get these little headers like this. This is my one. Oh, it's not gonna, doesn't want to show. Oh, there we go. So you got the header here, and then underneath you got the links. So see here some content that I've made recently, and then underneath, I don't know what that one says underneath, agent resources. So I've got it sort of, different subjects, so to speak, and then I've got all my social media accounts there. So it's a great way that you can, sometimes a lot of people just put one link in their bio, and they might say, oh, click the link in my bio to view the listing. But then say you've got multiple listings at the same time, you got to have more than one listing in your bio. So the link tree gives you a way to add in multiple links. So you just say, click the link in bio, and they can see all your other different listings. They can see your other social media profiles, anything else you've done.
And Max, how much does Linktree cost as well?
Free.
Interesting.
I manage a lot of social media accounts for people, and I get all of them on Linktree. I've never once paid for the pro membership. You can, but you don't need it.
So what have we learned today? That you don't have to spend any money to potentially directly reach anybody in the entire world through social media by being you, by dedicating some time, which arguably is more valuable than money. But if you have time on your side, utilize social media, do so strategically and authentically, and you will absolutely build the business you want to build.
Yep, 100%. It's as easy as that. Takes time, but you know, there's so many resources out there on YouTube. Just search, if you don't know how to do something, just search it up. And in saying that, we're going to be making a 5-part series, or around 5-part series, of some of the really important things you need to know about building up your social media. So today we've just covered accounts, what platforms to use, and how to set your profile up. We're also going to be covering content and posting consistency in a later episode. And then we'll move on to repurposing that content. So you can make one video like we're doing now, Barry and I are doing now, and you can post that on TikTok, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We're going to show you how you can use that one video and post it everywhere. So you're actually saving time at the same time.
I was going to say, so it's free and you're saving time. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's everything that everyone wants. And then we'll move on to advertising in a later episode. So that'll be an exciting one, because advertising can be hard for real estate agents. They get their ad accounts blocked. They don't know who to target. They can burn through a lot of money as well. So we've got a few really exciting episodes coming up.
I'm looking forward to it, Max. I appreciate you, and thank you for your time as well. Thanks for hopping on this. This has been fun, and it is valuable as a brand new agent, and even someone who was seasoned. I wish I would have had half the insight to what you have. So I'm really looking forward to learning more as well. Thank you.
No worries, Barry. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.